AITA for charging someone more than usual for cupcakes and saying I'm not running a charity. Throwaway. I, 26, have a small business baking cakes and cupcakes. It's not my primary job, my customers are mostly family and friends, but it's something I'm good at and enjoy doing. It depends on the size, but since I can't do commercial quantities, my time frame to place orders is at least 2 weeks in advance, so a couple weeks ago a mutual friend, Liv, 29, reached out asking if I could make some cupcakes for her daughter's 3rd birthday. She gave an outline of what she wanted and it's something I can do, so I said sure. Difference is she wanted them in a week. Liv said there's a lot going on for her right now and she decided to give her daughter a surprise and doesn't have time to make cupcakes too. So the late order. I had spare time that week, so I said I could make them. The cost I gave her was more than what I'd normally charge, but Liv started saying how it's too much and if I could bring it down. I said no, because this is a late order. She made some excuse about how she understands that and she's happy to pay more, but not this much. Liv kept insisting, so I got kind of annoyed and told her I'm not running a charity, she can afford it. If she can't, she doesn't have to order from me. Liv gave a pretty snarky reply to that, got pissed. Didn't end up placing an order. I then saw from a friend's Insta she made some posts on her stories, which I'll admit irked me. I do have a couple people telling me I was way up charging and was rude to her in my replies. I don't think I was, so AITA, edit, my prices are in CAD, not USD. AITA for pulling the cancer card to shame someone and drawing attention to myself in a party. 7 years ago I had cervical cancer, which wreaked havoc on my life in a lot of ways. Perhaps stupidly, but I was more upset about losing my hair than I was my fertility, at least at first. I used to have long hair, rarely ever cut it, but shaved it during the course of chemo. Even after treatment, after remission, I found that I felt empowered by my new hairstyle, mostly what it meant to me, and kept it short. Recently I've been diagnosed with vaginal cancer. Thankfully we caught it early, so hopes are high, but I won't lie that I'm not upset that this is happening to me again. This upset has led me to be tetchy. My brother and his new girlfriend and newborn flew in for a visit, for the first time since the baby was born. This is the first time in years we've seen him, except for video calls, because they're out of country now. She's a sweetheart but kind of blunt. Over the course of the party, she pointed out that my haircut made my face look round, but that's the chemo causing fluid buildup. She asked me multiple times if I was sure I didn't want a drink, mostly because she was also getting herself one. She also said I was very confident to avoid wearing jewelry with such short hair. Again, she is a little lacking in social mores, but still she's very genuine in what she says. I just got sick of answering questions about my lack of alcohol, about my haircut, about my face, so I snapped, admittedly. After she commented about my hair again, I said, I have cancer, very bluntly and too loudly. Many people overheard, which caused many eyes to turn onto us, during a party that was meant for my brother and his girlfriend. My brother took me aside after everyone else had left the house and his GF was in the car. He said I made a scene. He expressed his sympathy that I was dealing with cancer again, but he said that he wished I chose a better time to reveal it, because it took away from his and his family's announcements.
AITA for being rude to the dogs of a lady I'm pet sitting for, and yelling at her. I, 24F, am a pet sitter and recently got a client who needs some regular pet sitting as she goes out of town for the weekends sometimes. She has 6 dogs. Very friendly dogs. After my second weekend there, she called me and thanked me, but said she was concerned about one thing she saw on the nanny cam footage. I thought of what I could have done wrong. She said that when I sat down on the couch and all the dogs were trying to get on me and pant and slobber in my face, that I turned away from them and tried to nudge them away. She said it was important that someone not turn away from her dogs when they show excitement, since she wants to encourage them to be friendly. I said, oh, so basically I should let the dogs breathe and slobber in my face when they want to? I thought she'd see the absurdity of it, but she basically just said yes, exactly. Seeming to think nothing of it. The next time I went over, she had me sit down on the first step of the staircase with all the dogs around, and one predictably started licking and panting into my face, and she sort of laughed and said, see, don't turn away, he likes you, you'll learn to be fond of it. I did my best to hold my breath, but after all the dogs had their turn I was ready to puke. I held it in as best I could until she was out the door and then gagged and felt sick for half an hour. The next visit the same thing happened, and this time I did wince and turn around, which she got upset at. I told her that their breath stinks and I can't take it, and she got offended and said that they clean their teeth and it smells exactly as dog breath should smell, and that a real dog person would embrace that and accept their affection. I ended up yelling, "Stop trying to get me to smell your dog's breath, you weirdo," and storming out, probably leaving her scrambling to find someone else for the weekend to cover. I am sad to lose a consistent high-paying client, but I just couldn't take that anymore. I told a friend about it and he said, well, she does have a point that you can't act all averse to dogs and turn away from them in that industry, but I just thought there's a big difference between showing enthusiasm for dogs and for their breath. AITA?
AITA for criticizing my daughter-in-law. I, 60M, am retired and living with my wife, 62F, who recently retired as well due to health issues. I retired early when my youngest son, 34M, completed his degree about 14 years ago. Our country currently has a housing crisis, so my son and his wife rented when they started their marriage. When my wife and I noticed that we were dipping into our emergency fund and our savings was getting depleted, we asked our son and his wife to move in since the house is going to them when we pass anyway. They both have stable jobs and my daughter-in-law has other side businesses that allow her to financially support her own parents as well. We belong to a culture where it's customary to take care of your parents when they get old. They moved in and have been covering all expenses, which helps us keep our savings intact. They pay for groceries, electricity, water, internet, our more expensive medications, and everything else around the house. They also paid for our annual property taxes. They also help around the house when they aren't working. One thing I don't like is their style of living. They both work from home and they converted one of the spare rooms into an office, and I hate how cluttered it can get when I walk past. I told my son that my daughter-in-law should spend extra time straightening up both their desks after work to keep the room organized. At one point I walked past their bedroom while my son was walking out. So the door was ajar and I saw my daughter-in-law lounging on the bed, legs akimbo. I told my son it was unbecoming of a woman to behave like that. My son said she isn't like that in the living room but feels comfortable to lounge a bit freely in the privacy of their bedroom. My son and daughter-in-law have been distant with me since, with my daughter-in-law barely speaking to me at all. My wife spoke to both of them to ask if they are okay, and my daughter-in-law said she felt I was being misogynistic and that she didn't feel comfortable interacting with me anymore. She has also said to my wife that if she doesn't end up feeling better about this situation, she will look into renting again and will move out and end the financial support to focus on their own living expenses. This is something we cannot afford to happen, as it has been easier with them taking over all expenses, but I still think I'm right and they should take my feedback. AITA.
Am I the asshole for leaving my number on the bill? So I, 26M, went out for dinner last night with a few friends. We were at this pretty nice restaurant and our waitress, F, early 20s, caught my eye as soon as we sat down. I thought she was really cute and had a great sense of style. Her outfit was really unique and just seemed to suit her perfectly. Anyway, throughout the night, she was really friendly and attentive, and I couldn't help but keep noticing her. After a while, I decided to go for it and compliment her on her outfit. I said something like, "Hey, I just wanted to say that you look really cute tonight, and your outfit is amazing. It suits you so well." She seemed to take the compliment well, smiling and thanking me. Later on, as we were finishing up our meal, I decided to write my number on the receipt and leave it for her, just in case she was interested in talking more or even going on a date. When I handed her the receipt, I told her, "I hope this isn't too forward, but I've really enjoyed talking to you tonight and thought you might like to get in touch if you're interested." She took the receipt and thanked me, but I noticed her smile seemed a bit forced this time. I figured maybe she wasn't interested, and that was fine. I didn't want to push her or make her feel uncomfortable. After we left the restaurant, my friends told me that what I did was inappropriate, and that I shouldn't have put her on the spot like that at her workplace. They said it's not okay to hit on service workers who are just trying to do their job. I genuinely didn't mean any harm, and I thought I was being polite and respectful about it.
AITA for yelling at a parent after she didn't invite my daughter to her kid's party and called my child a buzzkill. We live in a small town. There is a single school for our area. The rules for the school is if you are handing out invites at school, everyone in the class must be invited. If you want to exclude some people, then you send the invites in the mail. My party had a birthday party 2 months ago, and everyone was invited. Cindy is having a pool party in 2 weeks for her birthday. Her parents sent her to school with the invites and she handed them out before school started. Basically, everyone in the class is invited besides my daughter. Since it was handed out before school, everyone knows my daughter is not invited. My daughter is in first grade, so 6 years old. My daughter is a rule follower and she does tattle on people to the teacher often. She is learning to mind her business, but has trouble with it when they do something she thinks is wrong. She is also pretty cautious for a kid and will tell people to not run around a pool and whatnot. I called up Cindy's mom and asked if there was a mistake since my daughter came home upset. She told me no, and that she is not invited due to my daughter being a bossy buzzkill. That she would ruin the party. I lost it and called her a cruel person to exclude one of her kids' friends for being more cautious. She hanged up on me after called me an ass. My husband told me that I shouldn't have called and that Cindy's mom is correct about our kid being bossy and that this is a lesson for her to learn. It astounds me how many people think publicly excluding a 6-year-old is okay and then straight up insulting them is fine. She could have mailed the invites. Everyone was invited besides my daughter and another kid, but he hasn't been in school for a while due to a family emergency. So, AITA? She said no and that she wants everyone to look the same, so I couldn't wear sleeves or have a different dress. I said I wasn't comfortable having my arms on show around such a large amount of people and that you would see them in all the pictures. She asked if I could just put makeup on my arms, but I have keloid scars and makeup won't cover them at all. She then said if I wasn't going to cooperate, I just shouldn't come. She told my family I was being difficult and didn't want to obey the dress code because I wanted to be different. She sent out her invites a few weeks ago and messaged me asking why I haven't confirmed that I'm going. I said that I'm still not comfortable being in short sleeves and that I will just not attend since I don't want to ruin her perfect day, but dressing differently. She complained saying that she had already bought the dresses and I said I'll give her the money for mine, but she didn't listen. I know I probably sound selfish and I shouldn't let my own issues be priority over my sister's wedding, but I don't like being in short sleeves and there's no other way to work around it. AITA for not attending my sister's wedding because of her dress code. I, 18F, recently decided I'm not attending my sister's, 21F, wedding. My sister has her dream wedding planned. She has been dreaming of her wedding all her life and has everything down to the T. She has her cake, her venue, her dress, the bridesmaids' dresses and the flower arrangements all prepared. She sat me and my sisters down to show us the dresses she wanted us to wear. They were cute flowy pink gowns with lace around the neck area. We all loved them, but I had a problem. They were short-sleeved. Now her wedding is in the summer, so short sleeves are kind of a must-have, but I have scars all down my arms and do not want them on show at the wedding. I pulled her aside and asked if I could get a dress with sleeves or if I could wear sleeved gloves.
AITA for telling my husband I hate his mother. My husband and I have been married for 4 years. During my marriage, I've observed he's a bit of a mama's boy. She's in a different country, retired and living with her husband. He will call her almost every day, help them financially, send her on holidays to that she wants to go to, etc. He's been saying he wants to bring both his parents to where we are, since they're lonely and it would be nice to spend time with their grandkids, my husband's sister's kids. Later, I did find out that coming here, to our country, was his mother's idea. I didn't really have a problem with any of this, as it's kind of expected in our culture. We are Southeast Asians, but I was still low-key feeling insecure because it felt like his parents came first. Anyway, yesterday my husband and I were driving to the shops, when he gets a call from his sister. The conversation went normal until he starts bringing up his plans to visit his parents and how he hasn't found any cheap tickets. I was a bit taken back because I wasn't aware he had plans to visit them this year. After he got off the phone, I asked him about his plans, and he casually says he's planning on going since his sister is also visiting this year and wants to go together so they can be together with his parents. I didn't react at that moment, but I was very upset. Today, I decided to bring it up, just to tell him how I felt about him making plans without me, especially because I had asked him to go on a vacation this year and he made every excuse under the sun not to. The conversation turned into argument after he says, "Mom wants me to come, I have to," In the heat of the moment I said I hated her and he only listens to her. He said some mean things afterwards, saying he didn't care about how I felt and my feelings are stupid. AITA?
AITA for not eating my GF's vanilla almond milk mac and cheese. Last night she made Kraft mac and cheese but used sweetened vanilla almond milk instead of regular milk and sprinkled, not fresh, bacon crumbles on top. I didn't say a word but took a bite or two, and sneakily disposed of it after she ate hers without being rude. She didn't even notice that I didn't eat it. She found it in the trash and she's calling me picky right now and saying it's frustrating that I didn't eat it. That's absolutely disgusting, right?
AITA for not cleaning a helping a child wipe pile of poo. My friend, M30, was visiting me, F30, with his son ET's call him Jacob. We were hanging out and decided to play some Mario Kart in the living room, while his son was playing a game on his iPad. His son then wanted to use the bathroom. He's been here before and knows where to go. I don't have children, but I feel like children, around 5 or 6, should be able to wipe themselves. However, my friend and his wife still clean him up and wipe him. We have since stopped playing and we're talking when we hear Jacob call out that he's done, meaning that he's waiting for someone to help him wipe. My friend groaned and didn't get up. He asked me if I could go clean up Jacob. I looked at him with a blank stare, which pissed him off. He scoffed and got up to go see Jacob. After 10 minutes they both emerged from the bathroom. My friend looks livid and says that he has shit on his shirt because of me. I don't even want to know how he ended up with shit on his shirt, and that I should have done it for him. He hates doing it and feels like it's his wife's job. I told him, well, thankfully, I'm not his wife and I'll never clean up his son. He ended up cutting his visit short and left. I don't think I was the asshole, but his wife texted me later, berating me for not doing this, because my friend was having a very rough time. He lost his job and was depressed, I didn't know that, and visited me to clear his head. I felt bad because maybe I should have noticed that his demand was out of the ordinary and done it, now that I know how he felt. Am I the asshole for canceling plans with my friend and ruining her special day? Last weekend, I had plans to meet up with a friend of mine, Anna, for brunch. We had been planning this for weeks, and Anna was really looking forward to it. But at the last minute, something came up that I couldn't avoid. My grandmother fell ill and was rushed to the hospital. I felt terrible about having to cancel on Anna, but I knew that my family needed me. I tried to explain the situation to her over the phone, but she was understandably upset. She had taken time off work and made plans to celebrate her promotion with me, and now I was letting her down. Anna accused me of not valuing our friendship and said that I was always flaky when it came to plans. She went on to say that she was sick of being let down and that she couldn't count on me. I tried to explain that this was an emergency and not something I could control, but she wasn't having it. Things escalated quickly, and before I knew it, we were in a full-blown argument. Anna accused me of ruining her special day and said that she would never forgive me. I was hurt and angry that she couldn't see things from my perspective. In the end, I had to prioritize my family and put my plans with Anna on hold. But now I'm left feeling guilty and unsure if I did the right thing. Am I the asshole for canceling plans with my friend and ruining her special day, or was it a reasonable decision given the circumstances?
How do I sure it isn't awkward? Let me tell you a story that illustrates just how much Rachel means to me, and why I'm struggling to express my gratitude to her. A few years ago, I went through a really tough time. I had just broken up with my boyfriend and was feeling lost and alone. I didn't know who to turn to or where to go. That's when Rachel stepped in. She came over to my house with a tub of ice cream, a couple of movies, and a listening ear. She sat with me for hours as I cried and talked about everything that was on my mind. She didn't try to give me advice or tell me what to do, she just listened and let me vent. The next day, she came over again, this time with a list of activities for us to do. We went hiking, we tried out a new restaurant, and we even went to an escape room. She made sure that I wasn't alone and that I was distracted from everything that was going on in my life. That weekend was a turning point for me. It was when I realized just how much Rachel meant to me, and how lucky I was to have her as my friend. She didn't have to go out of her way to help me, but she did it anyway, and I'll always be grateful for that. Now, fast forward to the present day. Rachel and I are still best friends, and she's still just as supportive as she was back then. But I'm struggling to express my gratitude to her without sounding cringe or overly sentimental. Every time I try to say something, I get nervous and end up changing the subject or saying something else entirely. I don't want to risk ruining our friendship by making things awkward. But at the same time, I feel like I'm not being honest with her, and that's not fair to either of us. Do you have any advice for me, TikTok? I really want to let Rachel know how much she means to me, but I don't know how to do it without making things weird.
Am I the asshole for not letting my sister move in with me? My sister and I have always been close. We grew up together and have been through a lot over the years. Recently, my sister got into some financial trouble and lost her job. She reached out to me and asked if she could come stay with me for a few weeks until she got back on her feet. At first, I was happy to help. I love my sister and want to see her succeed. But as time went on, I started to have second thoughts. My sister has always been a bit of a free spirit and tends to be disorganized and messy. I wasn't sure if I was ready to have her move in with me and potentially disrupt my life. I tried to talk to my sister about my concerns. But she brushed them off and told me not to worry. She said she would be tidy and respectful of my space. But I still couldn't shake the feeling that this was a bad idea. In the end, I decided to tell my sister that she couldn't move in with me. I explained that I didn't think it was a good fit and that I was worried about the impact it would have on my life. My sister was hurt and upset, and accused me of not caring about her. I feel terrible about the whole situation. On the one hand, I want to help my sister and be there for her. But on the other hand, I know that I have to think about my own well-being and set boundaries. Am I the asshole for not letting my sister move in with me? Or did I make the right choice? Am I the asshole for telling my coworker to stop talking about her personal life? I, 27M, work in a small office with a coworker, 32F, who has a habit of oversharing about her personal life. She talks about her relationship problems, health issues, and family drama at work, and it makes me uncomfortable. I've tried to politely redirect the conversation or change the subject, but she always finds a way to bring it back to her personal life. I feel like I can't get any work done because she's always talking or complaining about something. One day, I snapped and told her to stop talking about her personal life at work. She got offended and accused me of being unsympathetic and insensitive. Now, I'm wondering if I was too harsh in my approach and if there was a better way to handle the situation. Am I the asshole for telling my coworker to stop talking about her personal life, or was I justified in asking for more professionalism in the workplace?
Am I the asshole for criticizing my friend's parenting style? I, 34F, have been friends with my best friend, 35F, for over a decade. Recently, she had a baby, and I've noticed some things about her parenting style that concern me. For example, she lets her baby cry for long periods of time without picking him up, saying that it's good for him to learn how to self-soothe. She also feeds him solid foods before he's 6 months old, which goes against the recommendations of pediatricians. I expressed my concerns to her, saying that I didn't think her parenting style was healthy or safe for her baby. However, she got defensive and accused me of being judgmental and not understanding what it's like to be a new parent. Now, I'm wondering if I overstepped my bounds and was too critical of my friend's parenting choices. Am I the asshole for criticizing my friend's parenting style, or was I just looking out for the well-being of her child?
Am I the asshole for asking my coworker about their salaries? I, 35M, recently started a new job, and I've been getting to know my coworkers. One day, during a conversation about finances, I asked my coworker, 28F, how much she was making. She seemed taken aback and uncomfortable, but I didn't think much of it at the time. However, later that day, I overheard her talking to another coworker about how inappropriate and intrusive my question was. I didn't mean to make her feel uncomfortable or put her on the spot, but I understand why my question could be seen as invasive. I've never worked in a company where discussing salaries was frowned upon, so I didn't realize how sensitive of a topic it can be.
Now, I'm worried that I've made things awkward between us and that I've violated some unspoken workplace etiquette. Am I the asshole for asking my coworker about their salaries, or was it an innocent mistake?
Am I the asshole for not telling my friend that her boyfriend is cheating on her? I, 29F, recently saw my friend's, 28F, boyfriend, 30M, at a restaurant with another woman. They were holding hands and kissing, and it was pretty clear that they were a couple. I was shocked and upset to see this, as I knew that my friend was in a committed relationship with her boyfriend. However, I didn't confront them or say anything to my friend at the time. Since then, I've been struggling with whether or not to tell my friend what I saw. On one hand, I feel like she deserves to know the truth and that her boyfriend's behavior is not acceptable. On the other hand, I don't want to be the one to ruin her relationship or cause unnecessary drama. I've talked to a few other friends about the situation, and they have mixed opinions. Some say that I should tell my friend the truth no matter what, while others say that I should stay out of it and let her find out on her own. I'm torn and not sure what to do. Am I the asshole for not telling my friend that her boyfriend is cheating on her, or am I doing the right thing by staying out of it? Am I the asshole for not telling my friend that her boyfriend is cheating on her? I, 29F, recently saw my friend's, 28F, boyfriend, 30M, at a restaurant with another woman. They were holding hands and kissing, and it was pretty clear that they were a couple. I was shocked and upset to see this, as I knew that my friend was in a committed relationship with her boyfriend. However, I didn't confront them or say anything to my friend at the time. Since then, I've been struggling with whether or not to tell my friend what I saw. On one hand, I feel like she deserves to know the truth and that her boyfriend's behavior is not acceptable. On the other hand, I don't want to be the one to ruin her relationship or cause unnecessary drama. I've talked to a few other friends about the situation, and they have mixed opinions. Some say that I should tell my friend the truth no matter what, while others say that I should stay out of it and let her find out on her own. I'm torn and not sure what to do. Am I the asshole for not telling my friend that her boyfriend is cheating on her, or am I doing the right thing by staying out of it?
I, 25M, recently got a new job at a tech company. During my first few weeks, I noticed that my coworker, 28F, was struggling with some of the tasks assigned to her. She would often ask me for help, and I was happy to assist her. However, as time went on, I began to realize that my coworker was relying on me more and more. She would come to my desk every few minutes to ask for my input on something or to double-check her work. It was starting to affect my own productivity, and I began to feel like I was doing her job for her. I tried to gently suggest that she try to figure things out on her own, or to ask our manager for help, but she would just brush it off and continue to rely on me. Eventually, I had to put my foot down and tell her that I couldn't continue to do her work for her. My coworker was upset and accused me of being unsupportive and not a team player. She even went to our manager and complained about me. However, after explaining my side of the story, our manager understood my position and asked my coworker to try to be more independent in her work. Now, my coworker and I have a strained relationship, and I feel like I'm walking on eggshells around her. I don't want to cause any more conflict, but I also don't want to be taken advantage of. So, Reddit, am I the asshole for refusing to do my coworker's work and standing up for myself?
AITA 32F recently found out that my friend, 33F, is pregnant with a man, 34M. She's only known for less than 6 months. While they seem to be in love, I couldn't help but feel concerned and expressed my thoughts about their situation. When my friend told me about her pregnancy, my initial reaction was to ask if she was sure about her decision, given that she barely knew the father of her child. I voiced my concerns about how they should have been more careful, especially since they were still in the early stages of their relationship. My friend didn't take kindly to my words and called me rude. Now, some of our mutual friends think that I overstepped my boundaries by expressing my opinion and that I should be happy for my friend instead. They pointed out that the pregnancy has already happened and my friend and her partner are excited about it, so my negativity is unwarranted. I can understand their perspective, but I still can't shake off the feeling that my friend and her partner are rushing into things and that this could potentially cause problems down the line. I care about my friend and her future child, and I don't want to see them go through unnecessary hardships. So, TikTok, am I the asshole for expressing my concern about my friend's pregnancy and their relationship?
Am I the asshole for telling my partner to take a break from work to prioritize their mental health? I, 34F, have been with my partner, 36M, for 5 years. He's always been a hard worker and dedicated to his job, which I admire. However, over the past few months, I've noticed that he's been taking on more and more responsibilities at work and working longer hours. Recently, he's been showing signs of burnout, including trouble sleeping, low mood, and frequent headaches. I suggested that he take a break from work and focus on his mental health, but he got defensive and said that he couldn't just abandon his responsibilities. I understand that work is important, but I'm worried that he's pushing himself too hard and risking his health. I don't want to see him get sick or continue to suffer from burnout. I tried talking to him about it again, but he accused me of not being supportive of his career and not understanding how important it is to him. He said that he can handle the stress and that I shouldn't be trying to interfere with his work. Now I'm feeling guilty and unsure about whether I did the right thing by pushing him to take a break. Am I the asshole for suggesting that my partner prioritize his mental health over work, or should he listen to my concerns and take a step back?
Am I the asshole for refusing to pay for my friend's mistake? I, 30M, recently went on a road trip with a friend, 29M, who offered to split the cost of gas and food. We agreed to alternate paying for each meal and keep track of expenses to make sure we were both paying our fair share. On the second day of the trip, we stopped at a gas station and my friend offered to fill up the tank while I went inside to grab some snacks. When I came back to the car, he had already started pumping gas and I noticed that he had accidentally put diesel fuel in the tank instead of regular gas. I told him that we needed to get the car towed to a mechanic and have the tank drained, which ended up costing us a lot of money. When we got the bill, my friend asked me to split the cost with him since it was his mistake. I refused and told him that he should have been more careful and double-checked what type of fuel he was putting in the car. He got really upset and accused me of being selfish and not being a good friend. I understand that accidents happen, but I don't think it's fair for me to have to pay for his mistake. Am I the asshole for refusing to split the cost with my friend, or is he the one in the wrong for not being more careful? Am I the asshole for not being ready to commit? I, 27M, have been dating my girlfriend, 25F, for almost a year. Recently, she's been talking a lot about wanting to get married and start a family. While I do see a future with her, I'm not ready for those big commitments yet. I've tried to talk to her about it and explain that I need more time to figure things out, but she keeps pushing the issue. She's been dropping hints about engagement rings and baby names, and it's making me feel pressured and uncomfortable. Last weekend, we were at a friend's wedding and she kept making comments about how she couldn't wait for us to have our own wedding and start our own family. I finally snapped and told her that she needs to back off and stop pressuring me. She got really upset and accused me of leading her on and wasting her time. She said that if I wasn't ready for a serious commitment, then maybe we should break up. Now I'm feeling guilty and unsure about how to proceed. Am I the asshole for not being ready to take the next step in my relationship and for telling my girlfriend to back off, or is she pushing me too hard too soon?
I, 28F, recently got engaged to my boyfriend, 31M, and we were planning our dream wedding. We both come from very different cultural backgrounds, so we wanted to incorporate both of our traditions into the ceremony. However, my future mother-in-law, MIL, had other plans. She wanted us to have a traditional wedding in her hometown, which would mean excluding my family and friends who wouldn't be able to travel to her country. We tried to compromise and suggested having two separate ceremonies, but she wouldn't budge. She kept insisting that we do things her way and said that if we didn't, she would refuse to attend our wedding. After months of arguing, we finally gave in and agreed to have the wedding in her hometown. But things got even worse when we arrived there. MIL had invited all of her friends and extended family members to the wedding without consulting us, and we ended up with over 300 guests, most of whom we didn't even know. The ceremony was in her language, which my family couldn't understand, and she didn't provide any translations or explanations. To make matters worse, during the reception, MIL gave a speech in which she insulted my family and called them uneducated and uncivilized. My parents were mortified, and my aunt even got into a heated argument with her. After the wedding, my fiancé and I talked about how upset we were with MIL's behavior. We agreed that we didn't want to have anything to do with her until she apologized to my family. But now, MIL is telling everyone in her community that we're the ones who disrespected her by not following her traditions and that we're trying to cut her out of our lives for no reason. So, am I the asshole for standing up for my family and refusing to tolerate MIL's behavior, or should I have just gone along with her plans to avoid conflict? Am I the asshole for not taking my friend's concerns seriously? I, 28F, have a friend, 27M, who has been struggling with mental health issues for a while now. He's mentioned it to me a few times, but I always brush it off and tell him that he's just going through a rough patch. At first, his concerns didn't seem too serious. He was having a hard time at work and had recently broken up with his girlfriend. I figured that he just needed some time to get back on his feet and that things would improve eventually, but as time went on, his mood seemed to get worse. He stopped hanging out with our group of friends as much and became more withdrawn. He started canceling plans and stopped responding to texts and phone calls. I started to get worried about him and tried to reach out, but he always brushed me off. He said that he was fine and didn't want to talk about it. Then, one day, I got a call from his sister. She told me that he had been hospitalized after attempting suicide. I was shocked and devastated. I had no idea that things had gotten so bad. When I went to visit him in the hospital, I could see how much pain he was in. He was surrounded by family and friends, but he seemed so alone. I felt terrible for not taking his concerns more seriously. I had dismissed them as just a passing phase, but they were much more serious than that. I realized that I had been a terrible friend and hadn't been there for him when he needed me. Now, I'm left wondering if I was the asshole for not taking his concerns seriously enough. I feel like I should have done more to help him and to get him the help he needed. Am I the asshole for not listening to my partner's concerns about our relationship? I, 35F, have been in a relationship with my partner, 30M, for 2 years. We started out strong, but lately, there have been some issues. My partner has been expressing concerns about our relationship and trying to communicate with me about them, but I always brush him off and tell him that everything is fine. He's mentioned that he feels like we're not spending enough quality time together and that I'm always on my phone or distracted when we are together. He's also expressed that he's unhappy with our sex life and wants to work on improving it. At first, I didn't take his concerns seriously. I thought that he was overreacting and that everything was fine. But then, he started getting more and more upset, and I realized that maybe I wasn't being a good partner. I tried to make some changes, but it was too little too late. My partner ended up breaking up with me, saying that he felt like I didn't care about his feelings or our relationship. Now, I'm left wondering if I was the asshole for not listening to him sooner. I didn't realize how much my actions were affecting him, and I feel terrible that I didn't take his concerns more seriously.
Am I the asshole for not telling my mom about a cigarette burn in the couch?
Am I the asshole for confronting my coworker for stealing my work? I, 28F, work at a marketing firm, and I've been working on a big project for months. It's been my baby, and I've poured all of my time and effort into it. But then, last week, I found out that one of my coworkers, 32F, had been taking credit for my work and presenting it to our boss as her own. I was absolutely livid. I had worked so hard on this project, and this woman was stealing all the credit for it. So, I confronted her in front of everyone in the office. I told her that what she was doing was wrong and that she needed to stop immediately. She didn't take it well. She accused me of being jealous and trying to sabotage her career. She said that I was just upset because she was doing a better job than me. Our boss ended up getting involved, and it turned into a huge ordeal. People took sides, and there was a lot of tension in the office. Now, I'm not sure if I did the right thing. On one hand, I think it's important to stand up for yourself and call out wrongdoing when you see it. On the other hand, I might have gone too far and caused unnecessary drama in the workplace. So, am I the asshole for confronting my coworker for stealing my work?
Am I the asshole for confessing my love to my best friend, even though she's dating someone else? 17M. Have been in love with my best friend, 17F, for years. We've been friends since we were kids, and I've always had feelings for her. But she's been dating someone else, 17M, for the past few months, and it's been killing me. I didn't want to ruin our friendship or cause any drama, so I tried to keep my feelings to myself. But then one day, we were hanging out and she started talking about how happy she was with her boyfriend. She was gushing about how great he was and how much she loved him, and it was like a knife in my heart. I couldn't take it anymore, so I blurted out that I loved her and that I couldn't stand to see her with someone else. She was shocked and didn't know what to say at first. Then she told me that she loved me too, but that she was happy with her boyfriend and didn't want to hurt him. I begged her to choose me instead, but she said that it wasn't that simple. She told me that she valued our friendship too much to risk losing it, and that she couldn't just break up with her boyfriend because of me. Now things are awkward between us, and I don't know what to do. I feel like I've ruined everything and lost my chance with the girl of my dreams, so, am I the asshole for confessing my love to my best friend, even though she's dating someone else? Am I the asshole for calling out my friend for being fake? I, 20F, have been friends with someone, 20F, for a long time, but lately I've been noticing that she's been acting really fake around me. She's always complimenting me and being really nice, but I can tell that it's not genuine. She never seems interested in my life or my problems, and it feels like she's only hanging out with me because she wants something from me. It's been really bothering me, but I didn't want to say anything at first because I didn't want to ruin our friendship. But then she invited me to her birthday party, and I saw her acting the same way with all of her other friends. She was being really fake and insincere with all of them. And it made me realize that it wasn't just me, so, at the party, I pulled her aside and asked her why she was being so fake with me and everyone else. She got really defensive and accused me of being jealous and insecure. She said that she was just trying to be nice, and that I was making a big deal out of nothing. I tried to explain that it wasn't just me, and that other people had noticed it too. But she wouldn't listen and ended up storming off. Now she's not talking to me and I feel like I've lost a friend. So, am I the asshole for calling out my friend for being fake? I don't think I'm the asshole in this situation. While I could have maybe approached the situation differently or been more tactful, I don't think it's unreasonable for me to want my friendships to be genuine and sincere. I was honest with my friend about how I was feeling, and I didn't attack her or insult her. It's possible that my friend was just going through a rough patch or trying to impress people, but I don't think it's fair for her to be fake with me and then accuse me of being jealous when I call her out on it.
I, 26F, recently started dating a man, 42M, who I met through mutual friends. We hit it off right away and had a great time together. We had a lot in common and I felt like we really connected. However, one day when we were out together, we ran into some of my friends who didn't know him. One of them made a comment about him being old enough to be my father, and it really caught me off guard. I didn't know what to say and I think I must have looked uncomfortable. Later that night, my boyfriend confronted me about it. He said that he had noticed my reaction and that he was hurt by it. He thought that I was embarrassed to be seen with him because of the age gap. I tried to explain that it wasn't like that. But he didn't want to hear it. We got into a big argument and I ended up storming out. I was so frustrated and upset that he would think that way about me. I thought that he knew me better than that and that he understood that I didn't care about his age. The next day, we talked things out and he apologized for overreacting. He explained that he had been in relationships before where the age gap had been an issue, and that he was just worried that the same thing would happen with us. Now I'm left wondering if I did something wrong. Am I the asshole for not handling the situation better? Should I have defended him more strongly to my friends? Or was he overreacting and making assumptions about me? Please let me know if I am the asshole.
Am I the asshole for not telling my mom about a cigarette burn in the couch? I, 16F, accidentally made a cigarette burn in the couch, and I was scared to tell my mom because she always overreacts to everything. I tried to hide the burn mark, but my mom noticed it anyway and started shouting and accusing me of being careless and irresponsible. I tried to explain that it was an accident, but my mom didn't listen and threatened to ground me, take away my phone, and cancel my plans for the weekend. Feeling overwhelmed and scared, I retreated to my room and cried. After taking some deep breaths, I decided to talk to my mom again. This time, I calmly explained what happened, apologized for the accident, and offered to help pay for the damage. To my surprise, my mom calmed down and apologized for overreacting. She agreed to work with me to fix the couch, and even thanked me for being honest and taking responsibility for my mistake. So, am I the asshole for not telling my mom about the cigarette burn in the couch at first? I don't think I'm the asshole in this situation. While I could have been more upfront with my mom from the beginning, I was scared of her overreaction and didn't want to face her anger. However, I eventually gathered the courage to tell her the truth and take responsibility for my mistake. I think it was important for me to be honest and try to make things right, even if it was difficult. In the end, my mom appreciated my honesty and we were able to work together to fix the problem. Am I the asshole for not telling my mom about a cigarette burn in the couch? I, 16F, accidentally made a cigarette burn in the couch, and I was scared to tell my mom because she always overreacts to everything. I tried to hide the burn mark, but my mom noticed it anyway and started shouting and accusing me of being careless and irresponsible. I tried to explain that it was an accident, but my mom didn't listen and threatened to ground me, take away my phone, and cancel my plans for the weekend. Feeling overwhelmed and scared, I retreated to my room and cried. After taking some deep breaths, I decided to talk to my mom again. This time, I calmly explained what happened, apologized for the accident, and offered to help pay for the damage. To my surprise, my mom calmed down and apologized for overreacting. She agreed to work with me to fix the couch, and even thanked me for being honest and taking responsibility for my mistake. So, am I the asshole for not telling my mom about the cigarette burn in the couch at first? I don't think I'm the asshole in this situation. While I could have been more upfront with my mom from the beginning, I was scared of her overreaction and didn't want to face her anger. However, I eventually gathered the courage to tell her the truth and take responsibility for my mistake. I think it was important for me to be honest and try to make things right, even if it was difficult. In the end, my mom appreciated my honesty and we were able to work together to fix the problem.